Hey, you guys, it's Pretty Morg.
And it's Charming Joe.
Yes, and we are here with another episode on Evolution of Us.
It's another one, baby.
Yes.
We got ourselves a little business going on now.
I know.
I think it's official.
I love it.
Episode number 8.
Yes, episode number 8.
On the 8th of March.
Yes.
I like it.
I like that. The great 8.
It is.
And that's my favorite number, so.
It is your favorite number.
It's perfect. And it's sunny outside.
How you doing?
I'm good.
You good?
How are you?
You look good.
You look very nice.
I like your shirt.
I like the white. It's just vibrant and it's bringing out your skin.
And it's bringing out purity because we're pure in heart. We love each other.
Yes.
You know, which brings me to my next point. If you love yourself, it's time to do it.
Take a shot.
Take a shot.
Okay.
Let's take a shot. Early, real early.
Okay.
I'm feeling you right now.
Okay.
I love you a lot, baby.
I love you too.
What I want to also let the people know is that I appreciate you a lot. You do a lot behind the scenes, and people don't know that. Oh, I'm spilling my big liquor. And I want to make sure that you get your flowers on and off camera.
Thank you.
So this shot is not just for me loving you, but to appreciate all that you do behind closed doors. Okay?
Thank you, baby.
And I love you to death.
Nice. I love you too.
It wasn't planned, but I had to let everyone know.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah. We swallowed that one pretty quick.
Gave me a lot.
That might hurt you.
A lot.
Oh, jeez. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh.
Huge lippy eyes.
Why?
I love you. Thank you
I'm
for
not
that
too
tribute.
serious.
That was very nice.
Yeah, you know, it was very, very natural and organic, and I think the world needs to understand how much I appreciate you outside of, you know, the business and what we do.
Thank you, baby. And I appreciate it too. It's definitely a partnership. But thank you.
What's going on? What we got?
Today, we are talking about, well, first of all, because we just jumped to taking our shot.
We did.
We are Evolution of Us.
We
yes,
are.
we are the DMV's newest podcast.
In case you don't know,
Now you know.
you do.
Right. We are the newest podcasters for DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
Trifecta.
In case you don't know what DMV is. And we're always coming to you with relatable topics such as money, goals, relationships, sex intimacy. If you didn't watch that episode,
Watch that episode.
go watch that episode.
Please do.
Lots of likes and
Be good.
dislikes.
Yes, so please comment, subscribe. Let us know how you guys feel.
Yep.
And we'll take it from there.
Yes. Yes. And today's topic,
It's dear to my heart. I like this topic a lot. I think
like
so. I think it's very important
I love it a lot.
and imperative.
It's breaking the habit of being yourself.
Yes, breaking the habit of being yourself.
Yes.
As I always tell you, you are your own worst enemy. I think a lot of us don't understand, but we get in our own ways.
Sweet.
And the only thing that's holding you back is it's not the person next to you. It's not your mom. It's not your dad. It's not your past experiences. But it's ultimately you. And I think we kind of need to be reminded of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really, really a good topic. It's almost like being introspective and being accountable for yourself. Yeah. And I think that's important for us to start and to kind of progress with.
Mm-hmm.
It's your favorite number, 8. It's the 8th day.
Yes.
And I think if that's so dear to you, we should start that episode with on that day. How do you feel though? What do you think when you hear that title? What comes to mind first?
When I think of breaking the habit of being myself,
Right.
I think of things that can stress me out.
Okay.
And I think of more behaviors or attributes that I have that I'm pretty much, I want to say like known for, and things I know about myself.
Okay.
Like for me, I know 2 things. I'm known for being very forgiving, and I know that I'm very forgiving.
Okay.
And I like that for myself spiritually, right? But naturally,
Right.
it can definitely be a hindrance as far as how people treat me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I allow, what I let slide.
Right.
You know, being too forgiving is, you gotta have that balance. So those are the first things that come to my mind, things that I already know and like what I'm known for.
Right.
You know, who I am as a person. That's what comes to mind first for me.
Right.
Sometimes my stressors, like, you know.
Okay.
What about you?
What do you think? I'm sorry, it's a kind of a 2-part question. I should have kind of made that known. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Now, kind of tell the people something, because I don't want them to ever think that we think or that we feel we have it all together. It's all put together. We're perfect. That we can identify ourselves with them and what they're going through. We're just 2 people who is trying to make it like everybody else. A couple who who met. We're a very young couple, and we started this business in hopes to shed light on things, everyday topics, and issues that other couples go through.
Right.
And that's not young or old. You know what I'm saying? It's just people who are together, who are inspiring or aspiring to be and go a lot further than what they are.
Right.
So if you could be transparent with the audience, obviously you and I have had this conversation before.
Right.
What do you think is something that you can, or something that's been getting in your way of being the best person you can be?
Something getting in my way.
Something getting in your way.
Well, that word habits and breaking the habit of being yourself. That word habit.
Yes.
Bad habits really get in the way. They have. I had a few bad habits in the beginning. I did.
Okay.
And it's hard because, you even say yourself, like, you've been this way for X amount of years, based off your age. And it's like when you're trying to break a habit that's really been instilled in you, it's like, oh my gosh, like, this is something I really have to be like,
it's almost like being born again.
On. Yeah. So I think about that. But what about you? I want you to answer this question.
Yeah, but you haven't given us one. You kind of went into.
I'm generalizing.
You are completely generalizing. I want you to be very transparent with the audience.
But no, a bad habit that I had was really like not being upfront, not telling the truth. Okay. That was something that I really, really had dealt with in the beginning of our relationship.
Okay.
I beating around the bush and, kind of feeling like you don't deserve or someone doesn't deserve everything to be told from, beginning to end, missing parts, that was a really bad habit that I had. And that was something that I was, always doing from a child. Like, and some of us, we have these parents where they're like, don't tell anybody your business, but you can really take that to a whole other level where it's like, okay, now you're a secretive person and then you get into a relationship because you've been secretive all this time. And now you don't know how to differentiate when to not be secretive, and tell your business and when it's time to do that. So when you start to explain yourself, you start to get into this, like, you don't really know how to explain yourself. You don't really know what to say. You kind of feel a little embarrassed or you feel something, it doesn't feel right telling somebody like the whole truth at all.
Right.
So that was definitely a bad habit that I had to break for sure. Something else that I had to break too, which I was saying with forgiveness, is more so setting boundaries. I think I was the person to, reach out a lot and kind of, just forgiving people a lot and just not being upfront with what the situation is. Kind of being a little bit, what's the word? Like oblivious or aloof to, what the situation really is. Like, this person is actually doing this on purpose. And you're just, being very forgiving, but you need to really like dissect everything and get out of the habit of always given this benefit of the doubt. Like, sometimes it just is what it is. And you have to be accepting of, what, this person is actually really being this way. And I know I have this forgiving spirit and I always want to see things twofold. But sometimes it's just, you don't need to see things twofold. It's just, this is what it is. And that's okay. And it's okay to be.
That's so deep.
It is. It's okay to be like, look, this person treated me this way, and I know that I'm a forgiving spirit, I'm a loving person, but I got to put my foot down and be like, no, I'm not, I don't want to forgive you right now. You haven't shown me X, Y, and Z. You did X, Y, and Z. I'm actually hurt by that. And sometimes when you're forgiving someone too, a lot of the times, you're the first person to initiate. And then they want to come around. It's just like, you're always being the bigger person. You're always being the adult. You're always being but you want that shit back to you as well. So, sorry, those are the two things that I definitely, that come to mind for me.
Okay, perfect. Let me ask you, sorry, another question. It's not an interview, I promise, guys. Not an interview.
Right.
But as you talk, it kind of begs more questions. How did you, or when did you come to a place where you realized that those things were a hindrance for you? Mm-hmm. Like, what transpired mentally for you? Like, hey, you know what? Today, I'm no longer replying to someone who I've had to triple, quadruple text. Or, hey, I'm talking to my partner everything, no matter what it is. Mm-hmm. Like, whatever happened in my day, he's going to know about it. Mm-hmm. Like, when did that, like, kind of trigger for you? How it happened?
Right. Let's be honest. Like sometimes it's situational. So sometimes something has to happen for someone else to tell you, you know, the proper way to handle things or how you're being. Because sometimes you look in the mirror and, you know, us being humans, right? Sigmund and Freud, we're very into ourselves. Is it Sigmund and Freud? Freud?
Never ever heard of that, but I'm gonna take your
We
word for
won't
it.
throw names out
No,
there.
you're fine. You're fine.
But you know, I think it's called the id. We're definitely into ourselves. And sometimes it's hard to be introspective with yourself. It just is. It really is. And I think I started to realize it situational, you know, with you having to tell me.
Right.
Mostly somebody bringing it to my attention. And then also, sometimes it's things that you've always known, but you kind of just brush under the rug because you want to keep being who you are as a person, and you don't want to be mean, or you don't want to, you know, not forgive somebody, or, you know, I feel like that's a part of it too, where you're actually aware of what's going on. So it's a little bit of both. It's just the fact of getting that push.
Absolutely.
And that's the beauty of having like a partner or a best friend, because then they can really, you know, dissect you and just tell you like, look, you gotta stop doing this.
Okay.
You know, and it's like, you know that, but now it's like you're getting that push now to actually implement it and do it.
I like that a lot. I do. I like that a lot. And I think for me, especially for myself, it became patience. I think was my number one, because you talked about like telling me everything, and my patience for things in relationships. As we know, patience is it's very hard for me. Like, I'm a very, like, if I say it once, I meant it, and it needs to happen immediately, and not giving the turnaround time, and that becoming an issue for you because, you know, been the person you've been for the last however many years, and meeting me and like having to be a completely different woman. Like, baby, no, like, you've been doing that completely wrong your entire life, you know, and it's hard to like show somebody that, and also then be receptive too, because it's almost like a pushback on the kind of person they are in the moment, and they don't really understand, like, you have to sometimes change and adapt to your environment. Like, you are no longer this person now. You got to progress and like start to move and get ahead, and having the patience with that, and to like see you change, and to see you take a complete 180 from the person you used to be to the person you are now. And oh my God, it's been so glorious, and it's been such a beautiful thing to see. But it was very hard at moments. It was, and at times. And I think patience for me with this relationship was definitely a very, very big part of how we are, what we became, how we are now. Another one for me was also being vindictive. I'm a very vindictive person, like very vindictive. If you did something to me, I have to get you back. And just understanding, like, hey, like, when you react to what they've done and how they've treated you, you just now gave them back the glory and the power, and now they're still dangling you like a pet or a puppet. You know, it's like they still have the power over you. And like letting society, or letting, I guess they say, let go but let God. You know, I was helping them out. In other words, say, God, I got you. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna do 50, I'm gonna do the other 50. And it was really hard for me to like let go. And I think that sometimes we have to just let go and let God handle the people who do us wrong, the people who don't appreciate the love that we're trying to bestow upon them. The people who don't appreciate our kindness and our compassion, and then the ones who take our love for granted. Like, we have to like really understand to just step back, let go, and then let God. It's not my job to get you back. It's not my job to be and not with you, but just people in my life, whether it be family or friends or people I've known or people on the road, like, you know, my road rage, like, get out the way. You know what I'm saying? You cut me off, I'm gonna cut you off now. Like, bro, relax. Like, calm down. Like, you don't have to get everybody back immediately. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to always show the person the kind of person you are. You know, just relax and chill, because you're still showing the person that they have a lot of power over you. And I think that's something I had to really, and I'm not gonna say I got it together yet. Because some people are like, oh yeah, I got it together now. I'm not there yet. I'm still learning. It's still a process for me. And I think that us as individuals, we just have to be very introspective, as you mentioned, as I always say, and very honest with each other and ourselves. That, look, man, I got some things to work on. And being patient and being very vindictive is definitely two things for me that I think I have to work on. But I guess my next question, where I want to go to next, is when you understand that about yourself, when you are very, I guess, aware about the 2 or 3 or 4 things for some of us that we have to start to work on, and you start to work on it, how do you decipher when to let it go and when, no, this needs a response? Like, when you change, is it now you're telling me every single thing that ever happens in your life? Or you're picking and choosing, like, no, he needs to hear this? Or am I being vindictive only when my family members I feel like are getting out of hand? Or am I like, no, like, it's been 3 or 4 times. Now the 5th time, look, you know better. So now I'm about to react and hash out on you. So how do you know, like, when to keep that balance? It kind of goes back to balance almost. Because sometimes it's hard, like, because I don't want you to feel like, because I'm changing as a person, as a man, as a woman, that you can walk all over me. And I think some people, they see that, and they see you trying to change. They see you trying to make a difference, and they see you trying to become a better person, and they take that for granted, right? So it's like, when do you show them, like, look, stop playing with me? You know, or when is it like, self, because yourself, again, yourself is, that's the one thing, that's the one person who's in your way. Like, when do you have to put yourself in check? And how do you handle it? How do you manage and balance that? How does that happen?
The ultimate question, right?
Yeah.
Balance is such a hard thing. It really is, because it's different for every person. It's different for every situation.
Right.
So, when to put your foot down, when to, have vengeance, when to be forgiving. It's hard, because it's like, it's based off your opinion.
Right.
It's opinionated, So, honestly, and this is kind of where that balance is really about being true to yourself.
Right.
And then also breaking the habit of being
It's all
yourself.
self.
So
right.
it's just like self
the balance
versus
of
self.
self. Yep.
And it's just like, do I be true to myself now, or do I try to break the habit of being myself because I know that this is an issue for me?
Right.
And honestly, I don't have a direct answer for that. I don't.
Wow. Okay.
I don't, because I feel like it's different with every situation. Sometimes, and like I said, it's about opinion. You got to hear the full story sometimes. You tell me this all the time.
Right.
Sometimes you hear one half of somebody's story, and it's like, oh, no, girl, you need to cut her off. You need to block her. You need to this. She needs to that. But you didn't hear the other side.
And I'm going to cut you off. There's 3 sides to every story.
Right.
It's your side, it's their side, and it's the truth.
Right.
Like, you're gonna only put the dynamics or the issues in the story or the events in the story that kind of make you look like the hero.
Right.
And the other person will do the same. So how do I know who's telling me the truth?
Right.
Okay, so if both of you guys are truthful, and if you're not there, it's almost like when you go to court, like, it's the prosecution that gets the defense. No one in this courtroom was there. No. We only know what we have gathered, the evidence we've gathered. We don't really know what happened. And that's why it's so hard for people to make sound judgment, because we never know the full truth. No. We never know the full story. And with ourselves, we never understand, like, it's like you said, the balance is like, it's not really, well, it's been 5 times here, the 5th time now it's time to, like, we don't really know what that balance looks like. The only thing we know is the kind of person I'm trying to become requires this. Right. The kind of person I'm trying to become requires that. And if you just lean and yield more toward the person you're trying to become, as opposed to the person you used to be, you're making progress.
Right. And I want to throw comfort in there.
All right. Okay.
Because we're comfortable with who we are.
We are.
And within that breaking the habit, there's a sort of, where you're uncomfortable.
Right.
I feel like if you haven't tried being uncomfortable yet, when you're breaking these habits, then you can't jump off the deep end and do it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you have to still try to kind of put yourself in that position where you do step outside of how you usually are.
Right.
you still have to put some type of effort in.
I understand.
And I don't want to put numbers and, like you said, all of that. It's very situational.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like if you're not trying, that's also a problem.
Okay.
How you feel about that?
Trying is very, I guess,
It's subjective. It is. Like, it's...
subjective because you have to understand, you can psych yourself out and to think, well, I'm trying. But in reality, you're not trying. You're trying based on, like you said, your comfort level.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like it's starting to be uncomfortable for you now.
Right.
And what you start to do is you psych your mind out and you're starting to believe like, hey, no. But the other time I got you. That's the process, and that's the beginning of you being a different person. So it's going to be uncomfortable. Right. It's going to feel foreign because you weren't this person before. Right. So you have to understand that if I'm on this path, this is the path I have to take when I'm comfortable and when I'm uncomfortable. Right. Because that is what builds character.
Right, it does.
It builds anything.
It does.
Being uncomfortable builds anything and everything. It does. So, and I think we get into a place where we're not honest with ourselves. And I think that's where it really starts, with being honest with ourselves and who we are. Right. The things we need to change, the things we need to get better at. And whether it be communication, whether it be our actions, whether it be the follow through, whatever it is, it starts with being honest. And I think a lot of us just aren't honest enough. We are only honest until it hurts. We are only honest until it's time to really change. Right. We are only honest until it's uncomfortable. Right. And when it becomes uncomfortable, it's like, well, look, I did all I could. Oh, well, you didn't. Stop playing games. It's just uncomfortable now because when the uncomfortable sets in, that's when the real change is starting. That's when the real new you, that's when the real Morgan is really starting to birth itself. Right. And we don't want to get past that uncomfortability. And I think that's where it starts to be an issue. But those who are able to push through and get to the other side
and break the
habit, which is what this is all about, breaking that habit. I think that's just, I don't know. I think that's when change really starts. What do you think?
I agree. I like what you said. And I just want to throw this in here too, problem solving.
Yes.
Because a lot of us don't really use our problem solving skills, I think, to its fullest extent. Right. I don't. We don't really come to a conclusion. We kind of just get somewhere lost in the chapter. And
lost in the sauce, what we call it.
Right. I think in a lot of these situations, it could just be like a problem solve type of thing. Right. And I think if we really narrow down all of our options, which is something we don't do, we think really fast and we're just impulsive. That's just how we are. And because we're so impulsive and we think fast, we respond fast, and then we go back and think later, right? And then sometimes our pride gets in the way, and even though we've thought about it later, we're like, well, I can't really go back now and problem solve this because I already did this. So I feel like a lot of that is the issue too, like being mindful of solving the problem.
Understandable. That makes sense.
And weighing the options. I think that's something. But being introspective is hard. It is. Use your downtime, journal, read, as you say. Expand your mind, take a walk so that you can kind of allow yourself to breathe and think about what it is that is on your mind. A lot of the times we know what's going on. Right. We just need time to really digest it, express it, and then implement it into your life. Like if you know you're being this type of person who want to change, try. It's free.
It's free. Oh man, it's a free trial. It's a free try. Yeah. Oh, and it's a free trial.
Find things to help you trigger breaking the habit.
Yes. Wow, that's I guess association. Sometimes I hear in the courtroom a lot. It's guilty by association. Sometimes you can be guilty based on being there. Yeah. Sometimes you can be guilty based on having this knowledge of what transpired. And I think a lot of changing is based on now, especially because of social media and our friends and our family and our coworkers and what we are, is based on the environment. And a lot of us don't want to break the habit of being in a certain environment to change. Yeah. And that can definitely help and push you. If you're used to spending money, you probably shouldn't be in the club. Right. If you're used to, shopping, you probably shouldn't be at the mall every weekend. Right. Now I'm just going to go to the mall and buy this. No, you probably shouldn't be there because that's a stronghold for you.
And if that person triggers you to be upset, maybe you should take a step back from them.
Yep. Exactly, because if they can't understand and I guess also what I'm looking for respect and encourage your change and where you're trying to go in life, and they're not your friends anyway.
Right.
So it's really an abundance of ways we can go about it. But I guess the core principles is identifying that we need to change certain things about ourselves, and then how to change that about ourselves. And then when it gets uncomfortable, still staying on that same path to change those things about ourselves. I guess my next question for you is, pretty lady, how do you manage, let's say you don't feel this is a problem of yours, but others around you are telling you that this is a problem that they've been identified with. How do you handle that conversation?
Ooh, what a mighty question. No, for real, because that happens a lot.
Yes.
They keep telling me I'm this way. They keep telling me I'm that way. They keep telling me, yeah, how many people are telling you this?
Right. Because in my mind, what I've heard is if he walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's not a horse or a chicken, right? It's probably what they're saying it is. Not all the time, but if everybody's telling you this is who you are, this is the kind of person you are, do you start to take a step back to identify with that?
You should.
Do you let me kind of spend some more time in understanding what they're telling me, and maybe this is who I am. And I can't see it because I've been this way for so long.
Right.
And I don't really understand what they're telling me because to me, it's a part of my everyday life.
Right.
It's a part of who I am as an individual.
Yeah.
So how do you start to first identify with that, and then what do you do after?
Well, that's the thing I was saying about partnership, or just something that can identify you for who you are. Because I feel like sometimes people are telling you about yourself, but it's not in a very receptive manner. Sometimes people need certain people to say it to them.
Yes.
And they need a certain setting.
Delivery is
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you also have to be receptive to feedback. We live in a world where you can't just march on your own, do your own thing, and just not listen, right? At some point in your life, whether you're younger, older, whatever, you're going to hear something about you, about yourself, that you're going to have to at some point reflect on. And I feel like a lot of the times it's like reflection. People don't take the time to reflect. Like I said, take a walk, take a bath, in the shower even. Like just, open your mind up to really think about what you did today, what you did yesterday, how that person feels, how important are they to you. Put pride aside. I think that's an issue, and I think that's something that you have to practice. You really have to practice it.
Right.
It's not something that starts tomorrow. It's not something that starts right away. But if multiple people are coming to you about the same thing,
right,
you really might need to really just have that conversation with yourself, or have somebody who can identify with you, like I said, and tell you what's up.
Right. So identifying with this and hearing about yourself from multiple people about the same thing. Now, how do you put your pride aside though? How do you do that? Because to me, there's always been a small and a very thin line between being very confident and being disliked because of how confident you are about something. So how do you know that, okay, well, they don't like me, or they're saying this because they're not as confident as I am. And the ones who are criticizing me haven't done what I'm trying to do.
Right.
So how do I separate that and identify with maybe some of what they're saying may be true, and I should probably take a look at myself as a whole and start to patch up the holes that they're talking to me about.
Right.
How does that work?
Look, for me, being egotistical, what you said.
Okay, ego.
And
that is.
Egotistical, it's not the same thing.
Okay.
If you're going to be egotistical, then I feel like there's some underlining of insecurity there.
Okay.
Because you can't even admit to yourself that you know that you're wrong. So you have to constantly run in your mind for it to make sense in your mind that you're right.
That's so good.
If you can't see two sides, right, to the point where you can just come to the middle and be like, you know what, I'm wrong, I'm this, I'm that. There's some underlying insecurity there. And it may be nothing to do with the situation. It could be, I need to be like this because I feel like I'm not. So I need to be right. Because I feel like I'm not like this. So I have to be right in this situation. Every situation I have to be right.
Right.
I have to find the right because I know deep down inside, I feel like I'm always wrong.
Right.
So I can't look wrong. I can't look wrong. I don't want to look wrong. And to me, that's an ego issue. And then that goes down to insecurity. So it's a balance with that.
I agree with you 100%. 100%. You hit the nail on the head for sure.
That's just how I feel about it.
That's good. That's really good.
Oh, thank you.
I like that a lot.
Oh.
Look at you, girl. You been reading?
Ah.
She been reading her books. Oh, Jesus. I like that a lot. I do. I do.
I'm smart.
But you are very smart, and I appreciate that. And I love that about you. That's something you should not change, by the way. But yeah, let us know how y'all feel. Like, what do you guys think?
Yes.
That's something you need to change about yourself. Give us just like a small testimonial. Subscribe, like, and kind of put in there like how you had to identify with that and how you changed it.
Right.
And then what happened after you changed it? Did you notice the increase of friends, or did you perform better at work? Like, what was the after effect?
Yep.
I'm curious to know, because all of us have completely different things that we need to change about ourselves. And some of us can help a lot of us. Yeah. And I really want to hear about how you guys identify with that. But
Yeah.
what other ad, baby? Anything else?
No, just
You can?
this is me breaking my habits. I start coping with my.
She's meditating. I get it. I thought you was having a seizure just now. I'm sorry. I must call 911. Oh, Jesus.
But let us know, you guys.
Let us know, man. Let us know.
hungry.
I like this a lot. It's good.
Yeah.
So also stay tuned for part 2. I think this will be a part 2.
Yes.
For sure, identifying with yourself and understanding how to change it. But yeah, let us know, man.
That's it. See ya.
Bye.
Guys, it's Pretty Morg.
This is Charming Joe.
Yes. And we are here with another episode.
Another line.
Yes.
No DJ Khaled.
Right.
Give me $50. What is the topic we talking about today?
I know.
When would you say, how soon would you say you give it up in a new relationship? Don't answer that question.
If we're in a partnership, an agreement, if we're linked like handcuffs,
Right.
I should know the things that's going on in your life.
Absolutely.
And you should know the things that are going on in my life. I mean, 6 business days and the marriage is over. Yeah, you guys do understand that there's a disconnect at some point, right?
It's about increasing your income.
Okay.
And you bring that up to me, and it's like, wow, like, yeah, like, it is about increasing your income.